Welcome back, and moving on to our first segment for today, talking about the anniversary of the 23rd of July 1952 revolution. Well, over the phone, we have the pleasure to have Ambassador Mohamed Shazly, member of Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
So first of all, Mr. Ambassador, we would like to shed the light on the 23rd of July revolution. How do you see this revolution, and when it comes to the relation between the state and the citizens as well? Did we have any impact on this?
Of course, you know, one of the major purposes of the 23rd of July revolution was social justice. And this was demonstrated in the redistribution of wealth in the rural sphere, with redistribution of the agricultural land on the Falahin who have never had an ownership of their own. The social justice, one of the also the very important aspects of social justice is the abolition of the civilian titles, Bey and Basha, which made tremendous social barriers between the elite of society and the humble Egyptian person. The social justice, whether was it on the economic level or on the social level, was a very important aspect of the 23rd of July revolution.
Well, to what extent can we say that the 23rd of July revolution can be a culmination of Egypt's earlier liberal struggle?
Egypt's struggle for dignity and for freedom has been a long, epic history. If we start with the Cairo first revolution and second revolution against the French campaign led by Napoleon in the late 18th century and early 19th century. Then we had the Arabi revolution in the last quarter of the 19th century. Then we had the Saad Zaghloul 1919 revolution at the beginning of the 20th century. It all culminated with the 23rd of July revolution in 1952, which is, as we would say, the top of the iceberg and the culmination of a long struggle for dignity, for freedom, and for social justice for the Egyptian people.
How far did it affect the Arab countries around at that time, and just as a start for the Arab countries to refuse any foreign ruling?
If you look at the scene before 1952, you will find that there were Algeria was occupied, Aden was occupied, Jordan had a British General Glob Pasha as the head of the Arab army. Aden in South Yemen was occupied. There were military bases. There was a military base in Wheelus in Libya, which became Gamal Abdel Nasser base after the revolution. There was the Bizerte base in Tunisia. There were there were British forces even in Egypt in the Suez Canal. This shows you what an impact this revolution had. Within a few years, all these occupying forces have been expelled, and all these military bases were shut. So this shows you the impact, the regional impact and the Arab impact of the 1952 revolution on the Arab world.
So, of course, we can also talk about the impact of this revolution on the society as well. I mean, I want to know more about education, about, just as you mentioned, for example, the markets in Egypt.
The education and health, those are two, main pillars of social justice. We are talking today about the problem of overpopulation. This is a problem. But if you look historically, how did this problem arise? It did not arise because people are bringing more children. No. It has come because due to the health care in the deepest villages of Egypt, infant mortality declined. People who were sick were offered to hospitals and medicine. So the life expectancy of the Egyptian people increased, and this led to this population explosion. Also, the effect of education. If you are educated, you will be able to take care of your health and be a healthy person and know what harms you, and especially things like, the people who used to bathe in the streams and get bilharzia, and the effect of the hepatitis that infected the livers of the Egyptian people. So the effect of, there was a school in every village, there was a health clinic in every village, and education and health are the pillars of social justice.
Well, also one of the outcomes was the ramifications of the land reform policies. Could you tell us more about this and its effect on the society, in addition, of course, to food security as well?
The agricultural laws that limited rural and agricultural ownership has been, attacked by lots of people who have been affected by that. But if you look at the history, how was this land accrued and accumulated towards a handful of people? They were distributed by the rulers of Egypt at the time, and deprived the humble peasant of his right to own his small lot of land, and it created, the feudal lords were, the amount of political power and the amount of injustice that was inflicted on the humble Egyptian fallah was abominable. So this was something to remedy injustice of the past. Some people say that this affected the production of agriculture, because big ownership helps better productivity. And this is not true. If you look at the statistics, you will find that the productivity of the acre of wheat in Egypt has reached amongst the top in the world. You have other crops, like, for instance, oranges, which Egypt today is one of the largest producers and the largest exporter of oranges, and many other. So I think, this had a very positive effect socially and economically and over food security.
Well, did this revolution reshape Egypt's institutions?
What institutions exactly?
I'm talking about the political life at that time, the institutions, the parliament, many.
Indeed, as a diplomat, I will give you an example of the institutions. Before the 1952 revolutions, who were the Egyptian diplomats? The Egyptian diplomats were either members of the royal family or members of the aristocracy without any formal training. They were chosen because they were the privileged few who spoke foreign languages, and that was about all. After the 1952 revolution, the diplomats were chosen after an exam that chooses the best qualified people from universities, and then they went to the diplomatic institute and studied diplomacy for 2 years, and then they were chosen and appointed as diplomats. It was not a matter of a social class, social status. It was a matter of merit. Those who have the merit to become diplomats become diplomats. And this is, I think, an example. And I give you this example because I am a diplomat and I have lived through this experience. This is an example how the institutions of the country have developed after the revolution.
Well, usually we talk about the previous experience, and of course there are many lessons to learn from experience. So if we're talking about the most important points that we have to take into consideration when it comes to the 23rd of July revolution, especially when it comes to our new generation, teaching them what and how it can be a momentum for the future as well.
I think the new generation has to realize what this revolution meant. The most glorious, the Egyptian revolution, was its social part. Before I have lived this. I mean, you are too young to remember that, but it was normal for the less privileged people to address their people by the title Yasidi, my master. This was not existing. They were greeting their masters by kissing their hands. This is no longer here. This, I think, is a great step forward for the Egyptian individual. And let me tell you something. If we compare the Egyptian rule by Egyptians to rule Egypt with what was prevalent during the royal period, we have now, unfortunately, those who glorify the times of the king and how great Egypt was, and Egypt ruled Sudan and ruled, I don't know, which is a complete fallacy. Egypt did not, at that time, the king did not even rule his palace. On the 4th of February 1942, the British forces surrounded Abdin Palace and invaded Abdin Palace and forced the king to sign a declaration of a government that was favorable to it. They said that we ruled Sudan at that time after the assassination of Sir Lee Stack. They ordered Egypt out of Sudan, and we could not say one word about that. In 1882, after the Battle of Tel el-Kebir, when the Egyptian army was defeated, instead of defiance, Khedive Tawfiq issued an order to disband the Egyptian army and enter Cairo under the protection of the British forces. Under the very severe setback of the Egyptian army in 1967, we stood with defiance, and we refused to be humiliated, and we refused to be defeated, and we stood and we struggled until we rebuilt our army and we reconquered our land. This is the difference between Egypt before 1952 and Egypt after 1952.
Right. Ambassador Mohamed Shazly, member of the Egyptian Council for Foreign Affairs, always a pleasure having you with us on the show. Thank you very much. Right now we are going to move on to a quick break, then we'll be back.